vibration air column inside the trumpet. Now, this is a trumpet. There are two ways of changing how sound is coming out of it. Either you press these keys, and when you press these keys, again I'm going to mention that video when different points were blocked in the instrument, they showed different amounts of air come out of the instrument, right? So when different amounts of air come out, different kind of voice will also be generated, different kind of sound will also be generated, right? Because we know that if there is less air, there would be more sound, and if there is more blockage, then there is more air, so there would be less sound, and if there is less blockage, then there would be more sound, right? So by pressing these different buttons, we can alter the sound which comes out of an instrument, right? An oboe is also a wind instrument. It has a double reed on the top. Now, this is an oboe. It's also called a clarinet. And this has a double reed at the top, and it's a thin structure basically of wood like this. And when air passes through it, it produces melodious sound. A reed is a thin piece of wood. Again, I'm reading from the second line. A reed is a thin piece of wood. The players blow on the reed, making them vibrate. This vibration makes the air inside the oboe vibrate and make a sound. Pressing keys on the oboe changes the pitch of the sound. Again, there are many keys on this clarinet, and when you press them, I think that person in that video also plays a clarinet, and when you press different buttons onto it, basically what happens is air's passage blocks at different points, and because of that blockage at different points, different sound comes out of the clarinet. So they're saying pressing keys on the oboe changes the pitch of the sound. Now, let's look at what's written with these pictures. A clarinet uses a single wooden reed like this one. The reed presses on the player's lower lip and vibrates when the player blows air across it. What happens when it vibrates is it changes the passage of air. You might remember from that video as well that they show how air goes inside the clarinet, and its path is changed because of the vibration, and because of the changed path there is a different kind of sound which is produced. The clarinet produces its lowest note when all the holes are covered. See, when there is more blockage, there is more air inside the instrument, and when there is more air inside the instrument, the sound produced would be less, because if there is more air, the pitch is less. If there is less air, the pitch is more. So when there is a lot of blockage, then there is a little sound, and when there is less blockage, then there is more sound. Uncovering the last hole makes the air column shorter, then the pitch of the sound gets higher, right? As we saw when that lady cuts the straw, that when there is less place to pass for the air, the sound produced is more. Why? Because there would be less air and more sound, right? So I guess this is all about sound instruments in this lesson, and in the next lesson we're going to start the new lesson. But to sum it all up, sound is produced by vibration, and when there is less air, the vibration is more, so the sound produced is more. And there is more air, then the vibration is less, because when something is in a bigger quantity, it's more difficult to move it, right? So when there is more air, it is less in sound because the vibration would be less. And there are different instruments which use the vibration of air and air to actually produce sound, and we are one of those not instruments, but we also use air to produce sound. Our vocal